I'm working on this puzzle game in Unbound that involves a lot of doodads and gizmos, and I'm at the point where I need to start separating some of those edits out into models of their own so that I can either animate them or manipulate them with code. That's Auggie. And I thought it might be a good opportunity to show you how and why you might do something like this. So let's take a look at this pink knob here and this red light. I'd like to be able to animate this up and down when the player clicks on it, and I want to be able to animate this light so that it blinks. Now, those are both part of this console model here. Let's get this on the screen a little better. In order to get them out, I'm going to select both of these edits and cut them onto my clipboard. Now I'm going to click outside of that model and I'm going to paste. And you'll notice they come back into the project exactly where I cut them from, but now they're separated into their own model. And bear in mind, this also works if you want to move something from one model to another. It doesn't have to be out of a model into a new model. So now we've got this separated so that we can control it independently of the rest. Let's do the same for this. If I click into this model, you see it's comprised of these two edits. I'm going to perform the same cut, click outside, and paste. Now, because we want to animate this light separate from the ring, we need to perform that action one more time. So I'm going to click into this new model. I'm going to cut out just the light, click outside, and paste again. And now we've got a separate model for the base, or the ring, and the light. Let's name this one bulb. Let's name this ring. And let's actually drag the bulb under the ring in the organizer so that I'm able to move them as a unit. They're still separate models. The other thing you might notice is this light now looks significantly sharper than this other green light. And that's because separating it out into its own model means it's not trying to blend this with this anymore, which is what's giving us this sort of muddiness. So that covers 3 of the 4 most common reasons you might want to separate something out into its own model: to be able to animate it, to be able to manipulate it through code, to be able to control the way things are blending differently, and also, of course, just to clean things up. If I click into this main model, you see I have a lot of edits here, and before the project is over, I will probably clean this up a little further. So now that we've got these separated out, and actually I'm going to call this one lever as well, and I'm also going to tag it as lever, which I'll explain in a second. Off camera, I've set up a couple of logic blocks, which I'm going to pull in now. I've got this switch manager, which is going to keep track of the state of this lever and whether we've actually clicked on it. I've got this translation block, which is going to translate our switch state into an actual physical position for that switch. And I've got a lerper that's going to move it into those positions. So in order to make this work, we're going to give it that tag we just created. That's going to allow our switch manager to determine that we've actually clicked on what we're looking for. I'm going to take the output of our switch state and put it into this translation node. I'm going to connect this output to our target position so that we can convert the state of our switch into a location that we want it at. And then I'm going to connect this model input to our new lever model so that it knows what to move when it gets that new position. And now when I run the game, if I click on the switch, it changes positions. Turning back to our light, I'm going to slide it over here so that we can focus on it. Let's create a new animation and connect it to the bulb. I can right click on this to change the duration of the animation. We'll keep this fairly short. I'm going to click the first frame and add a keyframe. And I'm going to click the last frame and add a keyframe so that our start and end positions are exactly the same. I'm going to click somewhere in the middle. And this is where we can get into why we separated the light from the ring. Going back over to our sculpt tab, if I click on the light and change this to white, and then back out to the model level. Now you see I can set a color here, which I can access via code and the animator, allowing me to change that color with this slider. We can also change this emissive value, which will make it look like it's blinking. So let's go back to our play tab and reclaim our animator. Clicking show timeline to get back to where we were. Now I can select the bulb, add a keyframe, making sure that our color again is set to red. Now you'll see if I play it, it actually goes between white and red. But also at this keyframe, I'm going to pull the emissive value up so that it has that glow effect, more like a light. Okay, let's put this back where it was. And we can close our animator. And now using the stuff we've already set up, one, we can set this to loop because we want to make sure that it does loop when it plays. And then with this play input, which will play the animation if it's set to true and stop it if set to false, I can use the same Boolean from our switch manager and feed that right into this. And now if I test this, when this is on, the light blinks, and when it's off, it doesn't. If you haven't had a chance to try out Unbound yet, there's a link in the description where you can get it for free. If you do end up checking it out, please drop into our Discord and let us know what you think. We're still in the early stages of development, so your feedback can have a major impact on where this product goes. And if you're interested in more inspirational videos to show you what Unbound can do, subscribe to the channel for more tips, tricks, and tutorials. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next video.